Welcome to Between Authors. I am your host, author Adrian Lopez. If you enjoy this episode, please leave a like and a comment below, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the notifications so you don't miss all the amazing authors and guests coming up. What is it that excites us as a reader? It's finding that author or book that we've never heard of or seen of before, kind of like a treasure hunt for a reader. My goal for this podcast is to bring to you authors that are not currently household names, those that you may never have heard of or may never have found, but they may be the treasure you have been searching for all along. Today on episode 4, we have a special guest that we're kind of veering away a little bit from the normal episodes that we do with authors. And today we have Shannon Pennington. We're going to go over the month of September, which is special. It's called Spinal Cord Injury Awareness Month. We will discuss a little bit about what that is, what had happened, and the types of injuries, as well as just find out a little bit more about herself as well. Welcome to the show, Shannon.
Hi, Adrian. Thank you for having me.
It's great having you here. Why don't you tell the viewers a little bit about yourself, what you enjoy, what you like to do, stuff like that.
Absolutely. Well, I am a mother of 2 kids that are 27 and 26 years old. I am a Gigi to 2 wonderful grandchildren and then another one on the way. And I am an aunt to many, many nieces and nephews. I enjoy football, go Cowboys, and I love to play poker in my free time.
Nice. So let's discuss a little bit about the month of September. This is going to air on September 2nd. And I wanted to bring you in the beginning of the month so we can really discuss and talk about what the month is about. And the month of September is about Spinal Cord Injury Awareness Month. Why don't you discuss a little bit about what that is, what that means to you?
Absolutely. What's very special to me, September is Spinal Cord Injury Awareness Month. And it's important because it helps shed light on people who have spinal cord injuries that they're suffering, and let them know that they matter. Not a lot of people know about spinal cord injuries and what they entail. As of right now, there are no cures for spinal cord injuries, but there is a lot of research going on, like stem cell research and things like that. People can learn about spinal cord injuries, and it helps them understand what people with spinal cord injuries go through. It's not only that we're paralyzed and in wheelchairs. We suffer from a lot of different ailments that can be life threatening.
Yeah, I did read that part of the reason there is no cure or really a way to fix it is that basically the damaged cells have anatomical, physiological, chemical, and immune system changes, and all of those actually hinder the ability to regenerate. So that's kind of the struggle or the fight to figure out how to correct those or how to heal those going forward, which makes it a lot more difficult than just a simple cell research or a virus or something that you have to go after. So why
Absolutely.
don't yes. So why don't you go
They will
ahead
be.
and yeah,
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I am not trying to interrupt you at all. I'm
no,
super
no
sorry.
worries, no worries at
I
all.
just wanted I just wanted to say, the another thing, the reason it's so hard is because all those nerves get damaged, and sometimes a lot of those nerves don't regenerate. That's why some of the injuries are incomplete, some of are complete. You can start generating some of those nerves back, but it really is hard and sometimes impossible.
Yeah. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your situation or your injury that happened?
Absolutely. Well, I'm a C6, C7 injury, so I have a cervical injury, which means, it's in my neck. I had a car accident. It was a rollover. I wasn't wearing my seatbelt, so I was ejected into the highway. So honestly, I am lucky to be here, but I do have the cervical injury, and it affects me from my chest down. When I first had my accident, I was unable to move anything from my neck down. And now that I have, it's been 4 years. So now I've had a little bit of progression. I'm now able to use my arms freely, which I couldn't use before. The only thing now is I don't have any use of my hands. My fingers are stuck like this. Hopefully not forever, but usually they say 18 months for recovery for that. So I'm kind of just dealing with what um, I've been dealing with what I've been handed, honestly. But my injury is a very high injury, and it affects a lot of different things. I can't move my trunk, so I do use a bed that helps me sit up and down. Otherwise, I would be in quite a pickle. But my injury hopefully one day will have a cure. But at this moment, there is no cure. So we'll see what happens. There is a lot of research going on, so we'll see what the future holds.
Yeah, definitely. I know there's four different types of spinal cord injuries. You mentioned that you do have the cervical injury. I know the cervical basically entails seven vertebrae, which is C1 through C7. You said you were C6 and C7, correct?
That is correct. Yes, C6,
Yeah,
C7 incomplete.
I understand that basically the higher up, C1 through C4 are the most crucial or the most dangerous because they're the closest to the brain and affect the most part of the body or the largest part of the body. Is there anything else that you want to discuss about cervical injuries or anything else that you want to share with the viewers?
Well, I do want to say that I'm very fortunate. Um, it could have been a lot worse. Like you said, C1 through C4, that operates pretty much your entire body. If you have those high cervical injuries, it affects your lungs and everything, and you can't breathe. Sometimes you have to be on a ventilator, and that's very scary. And I'm very thankful that I don't have that type of injury. Um, Actually, Christopher Reeve, who has the foundation that is so important to me, he had a C1, C2 injury, and he was on a ventilator for the whole duration of his life, which was he survived 9 years after his injury. So it's very
Yeah.
important that the lower the injury, the better off a person's going to be.
Yeah, definitely. We will discuss a little bit more about the foundation and Christopher
Absolutely.
Reeve later. Yeah, the only other thing I had looked up and kind of noticed was that the C1 through C4, like you mentioned, that he had, that's the one that generally leads to, I believe it's called teraplegia or quadriplegia, which essentially is everything below the neck. You lose either limitation or no use at all, which is exactly what he had from the C1 and C2. Um, I know the other three types of injuries are thoracic. Um, did you want to go over a little bit of those, or I can give a little bit of brief information on some of those?
Yeah, well, we have the thoracic spine is
Yeah.
that other level. I think it's T1 through T12.
Hmm.
Um, I had a partial injury on T1, but really that hasn't affected me much. But the T1 through T12, usually that affects you usually waist down, just depending. I think maybe T2 to T12, but that is a little bit easier for people to get be mobile. Like my current injury, I am not even able to transfer myself from my bed to my wheelchair. Somebody has to do it for me. But usually, if you have a thoracic injury, you're still able to move, waist down, so you're able to transfer yourself. So while it still stinks to have those kind of injuries, it is a little bit easier of a life to get through, if that makes
Yeah.
any sense at all.
Yeah. I know the next one would be the lumbar, which is
Yes,
affects five vertebrae, which is the L1 through L5, and basically I believe that's hips and legs is what that affects.
that is correct. Yes. I'm not. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not that familiar with the lumbar. I mean,
Yeah.
I try to make sure that I'm brushed up on everything, but when I do my research, I try to research the part that's going to affect me the most. And
And
unfortunately,
definitely.
I'm not too familiar with the lumbar, and I am so sorry
Yeah. No, no,
for
no
that. That's
worries.
my
I mean,
apologies.
honestly, that makes sense. You should be focused on the one that affects you the most. The last one, and I'll just touch on it for the viewers, is the sacral part, which is basically between the lumbar and the tailbone. That is five vertebrae, which is the S1 through S5. And basically, there is no spinal cord in that section. It's just more nerve damage. Generally leads to more limitation, not exactly lack of use of anything. It's just more limitation on some things in the legs and the feet and stuff like that. So let's talk about, you brought it up briefly before. Let's talk about the foundation, the ChristopherReeve.org. For those viewers that are watching, it is below Shannon's name on the screen. That is the website for the foundation. And just tell us a little bit more about the foundation, what it means to you and stuff like that.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you for asking. Well, the Christopher Reeve it happened in 1995, passed away in 2009. So he, or 2004, I apologize. He dedicated the rest of his life to trying to find a cure for spinal cord injuries. He advocated for people with spinal cord injuries, trying to help the insurance pay for more, which, that struggle almost every single day just to get your insurance company to pay for something that you need. They don't understand. It's very hard to understand spinal cord injury until it happens to you. I'm going to be honest, I knew absolutely nothing about spinal cord injuries until, it affected my life. And the Christopher Reeve Foundation, they're working every day to try to find a cure. And it's a very important foundation to me. And September, I feel like we're able to shine a little bit of light on the spinal cord injuries in this month that, is dedicated to us, and kind of show like, hey, this foundation is here. A lot of charities get a lot of attention, and this one really doesn't. So I'm hoping that with this this month we can, advertise it a little bit more, and hopefully someone, is willing to donate to that charity. And it's, completely tax write-offable. So it's a win-win, really. And I don't know, a lot of people, like maybe the younger people, they have no idea who Christopher Reeve is, but he was Superman, and he's my real life hero. He really is.
Yeah, he was basically the first major TV Superman to play the role, to be known as Superman. The original one was George Reeves, which did it mostly for television and such. Yeah, I mean, it's a good point you bring up about a lot of people not knowing about, the spinal cord injuries and stuff. For most things, everything is just a word to somebody until it happens. Cancer, you hear about, but you don't understand the effect until you hear about it for yourself, or you hear about it for somebody you know or your family. And the same thing, people hear about it, but they don't understand the effect emotionally, physically, not only on the person affected, but the family and friends as well. And that's part of the reason why we're doing this, is to bring more awareness to this, get that message out there, because a lot of these things should be much more than simply a word that people don't really understand. One of the things too with Christopher Reeves is, like you mentioned, how he fought for increased funding. I know he was a huge advocate for, fighting for, like you said, the funding, the awareness, the stem cell research, really getting it out there and being the voice and the kind of like the head figure for that movement. Because again, it's an important thing that needs to be studied, because it's very difficult of a thing to be able to cure, because again, it's damage, right? It's not something that you can replace or you can fix. It's completely different. And he fought for that, like you said, his entire life until he passed away from heart failure, possibly because of, being, like you said, being on the ventilator and everything. That is all difficult on the body when everything is forced that way rather than naturally. Similar to people who are on dialysis, generally heart failure is something that usually gets them because it's just a strain on the body. I know his wife as well continued the fight for a couple more years after he passed, and then she passed from lung cancer as well. And I think that the new name of it is the Christopher and Dana Reeves Foundation,
it is,
or
yes,
something like
it's the
that. Yeah.
Christopher and Dana Reeve Foundation. Absolutely. Yeah, she fought really hard as well. She continued the fight until after, until she passed away as well, which was just a super sad, story. Um, like you said, it's not only hard on the person who is paralyzed and has the spinal cord injury, but it is super hard on the family.
For those that are interested in the Christopher Reeve Foundation, the website is below Shannon's name on the screen, and I will leave a link to the foundation below in the description as well. Shannon, I also want to discuss the bracelets that you have made for September and Spinal Cord Injury Awareness Month. Can you discuss those with the viewers as well?
Oh, absolutely. Thank you for asking. So I had a really great idea. I wanted to promote the Spinal Cord Injury Awareness Month. So I had a wonderful idea, and I thought, I'm going to have some bracelets made. And any of the proceeds are going to go to the Christopher and Dana Reeve Foundation. So I have two different types of bracelets. They're both rubber, but one is lime green, and that is the color for the spinal cord injury awareness. And then I have another bracelet that is half black and half green, which is kind of cute. And it says hashtag healing for Shannon, which is something that my mom created when I first had my accident. And she wanted everybody to pitch in and have some prayers for me, and which was wonderful. So the bracelets do say hashtag healing for Shannon on one side, and on the other side it says SCI awareness. And I do have those for sale. They are $7.01, and yes, that is a very significant price. It actually represents the day that I was injured. I was injured on July 1st, so that's why it's $7.01. But I do have those for sale, and you can, if you follow me on Twitter at Texas_princess78. It's actually TX, not Texas, completely spelled out. But you can go on there and you can send me a DM, and you can purchase them from me. I accept Cash App, Venmo, and PayPal. But I am very excited to see how much money we can raise and get that sent over to the Christopher and Dana Reeve Foundation for some more spinal cord injury research.
Yeah, that's a great thing that you're doing to try to raise some more funds for that. On the screen, the viewers will see a picture of the bracelets, what they look like, and I will leave the links below for your Twitter handle so they can find you on that side. And yes, we're going to keep calling it Twitter, and
Absolutely.
as well as all the links below in the description for everything that you're doing and how they could follow you. So overall for September and Spinal Cord Injury Awareness Month, why don't you give the viewers a little bit about what your message is for the month in general, for the awareness of the injuries, and just what you want them to take away from this interview?
Well, I want everybody to know that it's an important cause. Like I said, you rarely hear about it, and you think sometimes somebody is in a wheelchair, and it's just simple. They stand up out of bed, they get into their wheelchair, and they go on about their day. But it's a lot more. There's a lot more to know about spinal cord injuries. It's just not as simple as everyone thinks. And also you think somebody is paralyzed, they can't feel their body, but there is still a lot of pain involved. Nerve pain is something that's super, super bad. If you've never had it, you'll never ever understand the intensity of it. But, I believe that is just, if you start learning about spinal cord injuries, I do believe that you'll take something out of it, and it'll make you have a little bit more empathy for others. And I just want people to know about it. Like I say, I didn't know about it before my injury, and I almost feel ashamed that I didn't. But now that I know, I want to make sure that everybody knows about it, and we can just spread the word.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, again, there's too many people that kind of focus on their own little bubble and really don't think about what others are going through, what their struggle is, or what they've gone through up to that point. And again, it's a good thing to remind others, what some of these injuries, illnesses, and stuff are all about, and how many people are affected by it. Because again, a lot of people, it's just a word to some people, and they don't really think about it and what it really means in general until it affects them or somebody close to them. Is there anything
Absolutely.
else you want to, yeah, is there anything else you want to leave the viewers with that's coming up?
Well, I did forget to say something, and I would like to reiterate this. There between 250 and 500,000 people are affected per year by a spinal cord injury. And there are a lot of things that causes those injuries. The main reason is car accidents, which, I can relate to. It can be a fall. It can be a diving accident. It can be shootings. There's so many different things that can cause a spinal cord injury, and it doesn't matter the age. You can be 2 years old, or you can be 80 years old be affected by a spinal cord injury. And I just want to, I guess I kind of just want to leave with that, that there's so many things that can happen. Never take anything for granted in life. I was in rehab with some guy who he went on a diving he was a firefighter from California, and he went diving in Arizona, and he got a spinal cord injury, and his life will never be the same. So it doesn't matter who you are, what you do, how old you are. It can affect anyone. So just live life every day um, to the fullest, because you never know. Whenever when I was in rehab, I couldn't even scratch my nose. So now, you take little small things like that for granted. So it's very important that you
Definitely.
appreciate everything, even the small things in life, because once you don't have them, it's really hard to adapt. It really is.
Yeah, that's a great message, Shannon. And speaking of larger things in life, I know you haven't mentioned this, but I do want to bring it up for you. I know you reached out to Micah Parsons on Twitter because you're going to be
I
going to a game to meet him. Why don't you just discuss a little bit about that before we go?
Oh, absolutely. Well, I'm a Cowboys fan. Anybody who knows me knows I'm a diehard Cowboys fan. Well, I am going to a game in September in Phoenix, and I thought, you know what? I would love to meet my favorite Dallas Cowboy. So it's Micah Parsons. He's a linebacker for them, and I made him a video. I put it on Twitter. All of my friends just pitched in, retweeted it, and in less than 24 hours, he responded to me and said that he would love to meet me. So we're going to make that happen when I'm in Phoenix on September 24th. So I'm super excited about that. I hope we get a Cowboys win. But I'm definitely it's going to be a dream come true. And, he is a great guy to respond to me like that.
Yeah.
He took the time out of his day. He's very important. So it made me feel super good to know that, he's willing to do something like that for me. Changed my life, really.
Yeah, I was very happy for you when I saw that he responded to the tweet on there. That was great. So I'm excited for you to meet him and enjoy the game and everything that day.
Absolutely. Thank you. I appreciate it.
No
I
problem.
really do.
So again, I want to just thank you for coming on the show, Shannon, for sharing your experience, for sharing the message. Again, it's a very important message because, like I said, a lot of people don't really think about it or consider it until it affects them, but it's a big thing. So I'm very excited and grateful that you're able to come on and share your message for this. For everybody that enjoyed this episode, please like the video, leave a comment down below for either Shannon or myself. We'd love to hear what you thought of the message, the video, the foundation, anything you would like to share. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the notifications to make sure you don't miss any of the amazing interviews coming up of other authors or other guests that are coming on to spread their message or word. Thank you again, Shannon, and I really appreciated you coming on today.
Oh, yes, Adrian. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for letting me share, spread the news about spinal cord injuries. I really appreciate it. Like I said, September is a very important month. If you want to do your research, I would really appreciate that too. Yes, like this video, subscribe. I appreciate you, Adrian. I really do. Thank you so much for having me.
No, no problem. Thank you again. And thank you, viewers, for watching. I truly appreciate it. Bye.